Hello, friends. Welcome back to episode 10 of Outside the Fire. I am your host, Krazee J, and I am so glad to have you back in front of me again. As always, Outside the Fire is my interview series of my YouTube channel. So this is streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. Make sure you check those out. Today, a very special guest, one that I have not spoken to in interview form, but I did get the chance to meet this gentleman not too long ago in a festival here local to me, and it was really an honor to meet this guy. Somebody I've been following for quite a while. He may not even know it, but he knows I was following him. I know he was following me, back and forth. But the Scoville Unit, great guy, makes some awesome products. But I'm not making this about me. I'm making it about this gentleman here. Let's bring him on. Let's see why he believes he could be competitive with these heavy hitters coming up. Please help me welcome KRIS FRAGALE. Welcome.
What's up, man? How we doing?
Good. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate it. As always, I know scheduling is rough sometimes, and I got a lot to get through. So I'm
no problem, man,
that you made the chance to get with me. So right off the bat, you are KRIS FRAGALE. Since I've never interviewed you before, this is your moment to kind of introduce yourself, kind of give a little bit of a spiel, a little backstory, and we'll go from there.
All right. So my name is KRIS, aka the Scoville Unit. I'm from a small town in Northeast PA called Exeter. I got started in hot stuff from when I was a kid, roughly 6 or 7 years old. My grandfather, my opa, as I called him, which is Dutch, he used to take myself and my sisters down into the garden back in his home in Pittston. And he's full-blown Italian, Sicilian. He was all about that home garden grown goodness. And he'd take us down there to eat peppers, garlic, fresh out of the garden. And right from there, I was interested in hot sauce. And it all started with Louisiana style, straight from the supermarket. And It was an obsession that became overgrown. It went from just me eating it on chicken and hot dogs and that to me creating spicy pepperoni sandwiches where I'd deep fry pepperoni in the Louisiana sauce, put some salt, pepper, garlic powder. And in 2018, when he passed away, I was still in the basics, just normal Louisiana sauce. When he passed away, he always had this bottle of hot sauce he kept in the fridge. It was in an old, was it Dave's Insanity sauce bottle, but it wasn't that. It was like a dark brown. He made it himself, and he only used it to get the grease stains off of his driveway. So this just piqued my interest 100 times more. I always wanted to try it. He would never let me try it. When he passed away, my uncle gave it to me. And he said, "Here, your opa, you always said you wanted this, and I knew you were always about it. So here, you can have it, blah, blah, blah." So I got it, and I tried to tip on my tongue, and it burned the hell out of me. Like just a little bit on the tip of the toothpick crushed me. Yeah. And I would always show it off, and by people at the firehouse, and I was a fire, be like, "It's not that hot." And they tried, they'd be freaking out. And really, it grew from there. It didn't get to where it is now, as you can see behind me, but yeah, it was existent. And I'm just like, oh, well, here and there, sauces at the store and buying different things and trying different things. And then my dad started getting into growing peppers in the garden, and I was always about ghost peppers. I want to try ghost pepper. And he ended up starting to grow them. And I just became infatuated with peppers. I was eating jalapenos, habaneros, ghost peppers out of the garden. And at this point, I'm in my early to mid-teens, 15, 16 years old. So I'm eating ghost peppers in 15 and 16, not caring nothing. And at this time, I thought that was the pepper. I didn't know anything about all the sauces that were out there. It was just, that was the pepper. I was eating with seasonings. I was pouring on stuff. And then my bartender, Joel, would always tell me, "Oh, there's Carolina Reaper." And I'm like, "Oh, really? What is that?" And he was like, "Here, I made a sauce, try it." And I tried, like, "Wow, that's crazy hot." And I was like, and obviously this is fast forward to when I was in my 21 and such. And he's like, "Oh yeah, I made a sauce." He's like, "Here, do a bull sweat." I'm like, "What the hell is a bull sweat?" He's like, "It's a shot of vodka with hot sauce in it." Well, I'll do it. I'm like, "Give me your hottest sauce. I want to try." He's like, "I don't know about it." I'm like, "Come on, do it." So he put the hot sauce in. I did the shot. I was like, wow, that's not bad. And I was like starting to sweat. And then to come to think of it, I think that's the first time I actually got a taste of cap cramps, because I thought I was having a stroke. I was in the parking lot sweating, taking my shirt off, like praying for myself. Come to think, I never really thought of it, that it was cap cramps. So
yeah.
2020 rolls around, COVID hits, everybody's locked down. Everybody's trying to figure out what to do with themselves. And I'm like, I need to do something. And we're in the heart of crazy politics and all that stuff. And everybody's going back and forth with their bantering. And I'm like, I'm going to do something. I got all this time on my hands. I have my shops. I have my bar set up. I'm like, I'm going to go on and I'm going to do something. And I'm like, and I want to implement peppers into it. So I'm like, let's see what we could do here. So I'm like, all right, thinking of names. And I start searching for stuff. And I'm like, how about the Scoville unit? Because I like heat. I have no problem with heat. And I'm like, and original is the Scoville unit where the topics are hot and the peppers are even hotter. And it was more or less just me going off and BSing and talking about things locally, internationally. And it went good. It was all right for a couple weeks. I was getting a couple views here and there. People were interacting. And I'm like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do more of this. And my brother was like, I really like what you're doing. He's like, I think you should focus more on your peppers and your hot sauces. And I'm like, at this point, I have a couple hot sauces, maybe 10, if that. And then he's like, if you lose the politics, I will sponsor you. And I'm like, okay, I can make that work. I'll do challenges. And I started seeing about the one Pocky one chip challenge and a little nitro, like the basic stuff. I say basic because it's basic to me now. But I started doing a couple things. I started getting involved in food challenges, speed eating, this and that. And then I started coming across stuff like the Valhalla Death Sausage and stuff like that. So it started expanding. And then another person wanted to sponsor me. And it kind of just blew up. I don't even know why I came up with the name the Scoville Unit. I don't know. I think I started looking at different names. And I actually Googled for a couple of days and did all sorts of research to see if anybody had this name claimed. And nobody did. I'm like, well, hell, I'm going to jump on it. I think the closest one was Johnny Scoville. That was it.
Sure.
So that was the birth of the Scoville Unit. It all started because I got locked down in my house and I had a big mouth, but it exploded into what it exploded into today.
That is an excellent backstory. I appreciate that. So going through all those, checking out the YouTubes and this and that, who would you say was your biggest influence to kind of get into doing a challenge level type of things?
So originally I was brought on by a channel that I ended up having a falling out with. I was going back and forth with them doing challenges and they were calling me out and I was sending them stuff and this and that. We had a falling out and I have since my dog just pulled the plug out of the wall. So it got a little dark there for a second, but ever since all that, I haven't really talked to them. But on top of them, Today's Adventures, Ryan and Lee were my first channel that I was really communicating with and talking to on a daily basis. And they helped me get into a lot of what I am, and they were pushing me in that. But then I came across Jason and Kim from Late for Work. Now, you know Jason and Kim, they're awesome people. And the friendship that has grown from Jason and Kim has tenfold. Like, it's incredible what kind of friends they became and how close we are with them. And right now, honestly, Jason and Kim are the main reason why I am where I am, pushing myself, involved in the things I am, whether it be the tink or the shout outs or the merchandise or selling my product. It's the back and forth. And I'm even at the point now where I can see where they're growing and how they're doing things that when I became an LLC, one of the first things I wanted to do is sponsor them. So Jason and Kim and Late for Work are the main reason right now, besides family and friends and Beth, obviously my wife, that I am doing this to this day.
For sure. Definitely. Yeah. They are great people. And of course, for those who don't know, I will be able to meet Jason from Late for Work later on in the next coming days or weeks or whatever coming up, because we do have to interview him because he is going to be a fellow competitor at the ZestFest in Dallas, Texas. So that's what we're here to talk about. You were invited by League of Fire.
That is correct.
As I mentioned, League of Fire sends out invites to people they believe would be competitive in these events, and there's a lot of heavy hitters coming up. And how did, when you receive that invite, what goes through your mind when you first receive an invite like that?
So Originally, I was supposed to compete in Philly for this.
Okay.
For weeks prior to ZestFest, we were talking about doing it in Philly. Well, I kept trying to get updates every week, and I guess it fell through that the venue we were supposed to do that just didn't put anything together. What's up, Goop? I'm not seeing comments popping up on Face or YouTube, so they must be on Facebook. Because I'm trying to interact. I'm trying to interact with everybody, so this way I don't think I'm ignoring them. But it was surreal after, because I was a little upset about it, and then I got the message saying it's going to be at ZestFest. I got the official invite, and I was like bummed out because originally I wasn't able to do it.
Right.
I wasn't going to be able to swing a trip to Texas that far that soon. This early, you know what I mean? So I was like, well, I'm like, unfortunately, I originally declined to be a part of it. Then after some coaxing and conversations with family and friends and people pretty much telling me you're going, there's no question. Like, even my work was like, you're not going because of us. And I'm like, well, not because of you, but starting a new job, I'm not going to miss 2 days already. And like, no, you're going. Right. So it's like, my brother-in-law gave me money to pay for my tickets for the flight. My other brother-in-law gave me money to pay for my hotel. And people started reaching out and handing me, like, giving me donations, like, say, we want to help you get there. We want to see you compete. We know you can. And then it finally kicked in, like, I'm going to ZestFest. I'm going to compete for a title here. Like, this is huge. And like, it was cloud nine moment. Like, it was very surreal. Like, I'm like, is this really happening right now? And I didn't realize how big it was until I started seeing more on League of Fire about previous competitions and how big of a deal this is going to be, and the more and more conversation that took place, and the group chats that were created, and everybody just communicating and talking with each other. It was just like, holy crap, this is going to be huge. Mm-hmm. And again, I never expected this to grow to what it is today. So it was uplifting to know that I was chosen out of however many people were invited. I don't remember the number. And then to find out there was a cutoff of only 10 people originally. And I was just lucky enough to be paying attention and respond fast enough to be one of those 10 people.
For sure.
But then obviously more people wanted to do it, and it's now at 14. So it's like, wow, that's a very small percentage of a chance of me getting in there. And I did. So it's crazy.
Yeah, definitely. I know I appreciate watching you, and I've watched you grow, over the years. And I think it's been fantastic. Everybody starts very, very small. I'm nobody right now. I still consider myself small, but what I do like, as you mentioned, Late for Work has always been the type of people to help others grow. And now your channel is grown to now people are knowing who you are and stuff like that. Speaking of which, was it this year or was it the end of last year you did a wing eating competition or something that ended in a head-to-head matchup with the Toe of Satan?
Yeah, so that was the second year for this event. The first year was more or less a challenge. Okay. The second year it got blown up. The first year was literally 2 people. There was 5, 3 backed out, and it was just me and one other guy. So first year I won it hands down. Second year I was thinking it was gonna be excuse me. Oh. It seems to happen when I talk for too long. I start to yawn, but it's not because I'm bored or anything. It's just weird. It always happens. It happened when I was doing my interview the other day with the newspaper. I was so embarrassed, but I thought it was gonna be somewhere around the same. But then again, Ryan and Lee from Today's Adventure set this up. They were working with Sauce Daddies down in Sonoya, Georgia. If anybody wants to check them out, they got amazing product. So they're like, oh, we're going to make this big. So they started talking with the leaders of the town. And if nobody's aware, in Sonoya, Georgia, that is where The Walking Dead is shot. That is where Alexandria is. That's where all Terminus is. It's all there. Sonoya, Georgia was actually the town where the season with the governor, that is the town that it was used. That's that little town there. That was the home of The Walking Dead where they shot. And if you're standing at Sauce Daddies, you can look across the street and you see the big walls for Alexandria. Wow. Like it's just literally a gated community. Well, now it's gated because they put these big ugly walls up, but it's literally people's houses. They rent these people's houses during the year and they shoot there and they pay the people to use their actual houses. So that it's really cool. But they're like, oh yeah, we're gonna have this whole big thing. It's gonna be in the middle of the Labor Day celebration. Thousands of people will be there. I'm like, well, this is kind of getting big. And they're like, yeah, we're gonna have like 12 to 15 people. And oh yeah, 2 of the people are gonna be actors from The Walking Dead. I'm like, well, who are they? And like, oh well, they're not main characters, but they're actors. And I'm like, okay, well, it doesn't matter still. And that's big. I'm a big fan of The Walking Dead, so I was like, let's do this. And they're like, okay, so will the and forgive me, I don't remember their names specifically because again, they were in partially into the first early seasons. And one of the characters was Carol's first husband in the movie, the one that got his booty whipped. And then the second one was one of the Negan's guys that tried to kill Carl. So right there, I'm thinking this is going to be huge. You're going to have Walking Dead characters, and there people are going to be coming from all over the place to see them. And little do you realize is when you go down there and you tell one of the Georgia people, like, "Oh yeah, the actors from Walking Dead," like, yeah, that's not a big deal. They're like neighbors to us now. They've been here for 12 years. We don't really care. And they're on like first name basis down there. Like, oh, starstruck. Nah, they're just some average Joe that we know on the street that we see on TV every now and again. I'm like, oh, okay, well, cool. It was exciting for me until you just popped my bubble above my head and made me feel like crap. But so we're leading up to this. Beth and I are moving. We're supposed to go down on a Tuesday and stay until Sunday. And situations that preceded caused us to not be able to leave until Thursday night, like late Thursday, and got there for Friday, like early morning. Like we actually had to stop and go to sleep for a couple hours at a hotel and then drive and get the rest in the morning.
Right.
We get down there and there's this massive group of people. This whole town is swarming with people. First thing I do when I get to town is I throw my stuff on, all my Scoville gear, and I go and find these guys from The Walking Dead and their autograph signing.
Sure.
And not starstruck, I walk into this building, like downstairs, The Walking Dead store. It's all the props and everything from the show. And they're sitting there and I walk in. I'm like, you're done? You're done? I'm taking you out. And they're like, what did we do? Who are you? What are you talking about? And I'm like, this wing eating contest, you're not going to stand a chance. I'm winning this. I'm defending my title. And these guys are like, oh, you're the guy we heard about. So they take a break from autograph signing and they're conversating with me. And they're like, we don't even know if we want to do this. We're not big into spicy and you're terrifying. Like, and I'm like, oh, come on. It ain't going to be that bad. And I'm like, and there's like all these fans and everything. Like, they're like, who is this guy just like trash talking or these celebrities? Like I had no celebrity fever whatsoever. So they're like, oh, it's going to be cool. It's nice to meet you. So next day is the competition. We take a walk over. There's thousands of people lined up in this area. There's a big stage over on the side. They had the table lined up. There's 12 people. They actually separated me from the Walking Dead guys because they were afraid of me. They put them all the way at the other end of the table. So we start doing this competition. It's 10 wings, 10 sauces. We're eating. Everybody alongside me is eating, drinking water, eating bread, drinking milk. And I'm just sitting there.
Yeah, I saw that.
What?
That was kind of awkward.
I'm like, what? And the reason is because one of the makers of the whole thing didn't realize that shouldn't have been a rule. And when someone asked him, like, yeah, go ahead. And he didn't realize they weren't supposed to.
Yeah.
So by the third wing, all these people are chugging milk. And I'm just sitting there like, really? Yeah. And I stand up out of my seat and I look down. I'm like, you guys okay down there? You want me to come massage your shoulders while I wait for the next wing? Like, and they're just like looking at me like, you're nuts.
Yeah.
Fifth round, sixth round, they both drop out. People are dropping like flies. By the eighth round, there's only like 4 people left, 3 people. Ninth round, 10th round, it's just me and one other guy. And this other guy is like beet red. Looks like he just got beat up. He's sweating. He's drooling. Snot coming out of his nose. His eyes are watering. He's got milk all over his chest. And I'm just sitting there like, come on. Now, I'm not going to lie. On the 6th sauce, which was the bomb, I almost threw up. Almost threw up. They should have saved that for last. That was awful. That is, I don't understand how it's only 300,000 Scoville units, but it's just something about it. It's just unbelievable. But made it to the 10th round. I'm like, oh, we actually have a tie. We can't believe this. He's like, all right, well, we got a tiebreaker. We're going to do toast Satan. I'm like, after all that, you're going to make me eat toast Satan? I'm like, that's not going to be anything. My mouth's already shot. Yeah. Okay. And this other guy hasn't said a word the entire time. He's just sitting there focusing on dying because I literally thought he was going to have a heart attack the way he looked.
Yeah.
So we're sitting there like, it's going to be time. And the first person to take it out wins. And we're not expecting a draw, which I wasn't expecting a draw either.
No.
So sitting there eating a lollipop, and the hardest part about this lollipop is it's so damn long, and it takes up all the room in your mouth, and I'm sitting there trying to shuffle it side to side to side without choking on the damn thing. And I'm swallowing the saliva and eating it. I'm like, it tastes like straight cinnamon with extract on it.
Right.
And I'm not even hesitating. I'm not even phased by this thing. I'm not hesitating. I'm starting to chew on it at this point. And they're like, all right. So they started counting down 10, 9, 8, and everybody's counting down. And like, all right, that's it, guys. You can take the lollipops out. And I'm like,
no.
I picked my chair up and I turned it and I sat right in the center of the area there. He did the same thing, sitting there. And we're going for another 3 or 4 minutes. And they're like, this is ridiculous. Everybody's around just conversating like this is still going on. And I'm like, I can see this guy's about to die. And I can see his cheeks getting wider because I know he's not swallowing. I can see it drilling out. And I'm like, you're not going to give up. I said, I can see you're trying to push yourself. I said, I'm not phased by this. I'll do this all day. They'll be breaking out 3 or 4 more things for a tiebreaker. I said, I'll make a deal with you. And nobody could hear us talking. I'm like, I'll pull out your lollipop if you pull mine on the count of 3. And he's like, okay. And he just nodded. Again, he hasn't said a word this whole time.
Right.
So 3, 2, 1, we pull out. As soon as I pull out, it was like someone pulled the cork out of a dam. It just went saliva everywhere. He wasn't even swallowing the stuff. And they called it a tie, and I'm like sitting there like, tie. And I'm like, I think, and me and my challenger in my head saying, officially I should win because I didn't drink or eat anything besides the challenge or the hot sauce. But this guy was trying to impress his wife, and not gonna lie, she seemed like a real piece of work because she was like rolling her eyes and getting, I'm not taking care of you. This is crap, blah, 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 blah. Everybody's chanting for him. Like he's the underdog trying to beat me. And they're like, oh, split first place. And they only had 1 trophy and the 1 gift card. And I'm like, give it to him and then just hook me up later. And they're like, wow, really? That's awesome. And so he finally came over and thanked me. He said, thank you so much for doing that. I really appreciate it. I needed this. And like he gave me a whole spiel about how he's never really been able to do anything. And his whole life is dedicated to his family. And this is the first time really getting any recognition for completing something. And he was happy that he got the trophy. He never won a trophy. Like he gave me this whole thing. And I felt awesome about it. But I tell you what, about 30 minutes after the challenge, I was in the woods feeding the critters. Because it all came back up, mixing sauces and then the lollipop on top of it. Oh, it was rough, but it was a good time. It really was.
Have you ever had the toe of Satan before that?
No.
Oh, I was wondering. That was the toe of Satan was the second challenge I ever did when I started doing these way back 2 years ago.
I actually did the challenge for the first time a few weeks back, maybe 2 months ago. Someone special requested it, so I bought one. I have one for show, but it's so old it's actually coating over with white from the sugar. I ended up doing it, and I think it was, what's the 5-minute time for a burn?
In your mouth, held in your mouth with no drool, no.
I think I did it. I think I did 10 minutes. I think I did it for 10 minutes.
I think I went 7 when I did mine because people were like, keep going. And I was like, that's about all like I said, it was only my second challenge I'd ever done before building up. So, I mean, without it was a little bit different for me, because the other challenge I did was the 2020 version of the Pocky 1 chip, which I thought was a very easy with the burn, but the taste was
no. Hey, if you're going to do something, you're going to make us spend a lot of money. At least make it taste good. I still don't understand how they get, like when they do their marketing, how do they understand, all right, how can we make this taste more like shit this year?
Well,
Since I think they do that.
What Pocky does do, though, is they put that coupon in there where you can get basically a free bag of chips to replace
free bag of chips, which the ghost chips aren't too bad. They're not bad at all.
So that's not too bad. All right, but let's move on to a few more questions while I still have you here.
No problem.
Do you have any particular favorite type of pepper that you just enjoy, heat-wise, flavor-wise, something like that?
So originally I always said ghost pepper, and I kind of veered away from eating raw ghost peppers, and I started dabbling in crossbreeds and other stuff. I'm starting to think that Scotch bonnet from the taste is my favorite tasting pepper. I think Ghost has gotten a little too floral for me. I have a hard time with floral peppers, but yeah, Scotch bonnet, I enjoy the taste. It's like it's not floral. It has a little bit of a sweet taste to it, but other than that, yeah, I think it would be a Scotch bonnet.
Nice, very good. That's cool. One of the questions that's come up, and I was actually going to ask you anyway. Of all the challenges, which one would you say was your favorite and then we'll get into favorite challenge to do, and then the hardest challenge you've ever faced.
So my favorite challenge, I never really picked out a favorite challenge.
Yeah, that's why I
I
like
would
to
say
ask these questions.
I would say the hot dang bites because
Oh, they're good.
they taste delicious, but they got serious heat to it.
Mhm.
Official challenge is that my like a League of Fire favorite challenge, but overall my favorite challenge had to be the Scorcher Torture 2.0
Oh,
because of
okay.
the flavor combinations. But that was the first challenge that I wasn't expecting to really hurt me, to taste as good as it did, but to hit me as hard as it did with heat. But I think Jason does a great job with his Scorcher Torture stuff. I actually have a Scorcher Torture 2.0 still in the
Nice.
fridge that I need to complete. That'll
I
be my
still have
second
one
one.
too. Maybe we should do one together.
Yeah, definitely. Not doing it
Yeah.
now though. I haven't
No,
eaten
no, no,
yet
no,
today.
no, no. I'm not ready now either. I would have let you do it by yourself. Not gonna lie.
I got you. But yeah, I think Jason did a good job with the score. I love the Scorcher Torture. I love the different flavors. It's not just plain chocolate; it has flavoring in it. It was really good.
All right, and then the most difficult challenge you've faced. Like, what would you say? Is there anything?
Kava Corners Wing Challenge to this day will be the hardest. But again, I wasn't prepped. I didn't know what I was getting into. That wrecked me for 12 hours. I didn't expect what happened to happen to me, and it was a nightmare. But I still do it to this day.
Nice, very good. I was gonna say, is there a challenge that you've done that you probably would not do again, either by flavor or something, or
Oh no,
just
I'll do all of them. I would do all of them again. I would love to take on the Kava Corner Wing Challenge again now that I have more of a tolerance built up.
right, right?
And I know what I'm getting into, to see my reaction from my first challenge I've ever done to doing it now years later.
Yeah. Jared Farmer J says his favorite seems to be the cap gun challenge, but we're not sure why he would choose that one, right?
That is it's funny that he would say that. Like, I think that one probably was the worst tasting challenge besides the Pocky one chip, and only because the tink is balsamic vinegar.
Yes, and they had to
That
make it
kills
that
me.
way to
Yeah,
be challenged. Yeah, but I
but
like the challenge itself.
it's a
So
good challenge, and didn't say it wasn't a good challenge. It's good
yeah,
points. It's easy to do, but I just think it really catches you off guard when you go to do that drop a tink on there, and you're like, "Whoa, what the hell is that?" Like, was that bad? Is it stale? Did it? That's what I was asking when I first did it, because I didn't expect it.
yeah. Speaking of which, the Reaper teacher holds the record for the most consumed in one sitting. I think she did
Yeah. Oh
five
wow.
full. Yeah, and then we have I think on the League of Fire board there's three, maybe four that have done three of them.
I
I
don't even think they
was
make them anymore.
They don't. These are people that have held on to them or whatever. There there's people I was me and Barnhog were one of the first ones to do multiples, and then it grew from there. But as you see in the background, I still have some boxes
Yeah,
back there.
yeah.
Didn't know if
I
you
wish I could
see
get
them.
my hands on them. I'd like to go for that record. That'd be cool.
Yeah, that's good. So do you have any hidden talents or useless knowledge that you might want to share that people might not know? If not, no
Mm.
big deal. We can move on from it.
I don't think I do. Honestly, I'm a decent singer, but
Cool.
Beth always tells me I should start singing more in that, and I'm always game for karaoke. So
I was gonna say like a
yeah,
karaoke style. Yeah,
I'm a decent singer though. I can
okay.
hit some notes and learn.
Nice.
I'm really good at memorizing certain songs, like, and remembering them regardless of how long it's been since they've been played or I've heard it. So
Now that's cool. That's something I didn't know about you. That's really cool. Maybe sometime we'd have to do a little episode where we kind of reach those. Not right now,
reach to the
obviously.
stars, man. Nah, I got you. You're good.
All right. So ZestFest coming up. Tell us what your thoughts are. ZestFest. Let's hear them.
Trying to find time to prep. Trying
Okay.
to find time to train. My thoughts coming up is it still hasn't quite hit me yet, because now the planning and the prepping the planning is gone. I'm seeing comments coming through, but I don't know where they're coming through at.
They're on my Facebook. Over on my Facebook.
Oh,
I'm
they're all
trying
on
to
Facebook.
show.
Okay.
Yeah, there's only like one or two people that I've seen comment through YouTube that I've seen. I think
Yeah, I don't know if
Sergeant Dunk's over
I guess
there.
Facebook. Oh, there it is. It did an update. Spicy karaoke. Yeah, get a good tank burn going and trying to sing.
Yeah. But anyway, sorry about that. Go ahead.
No, you're okay. But I'm trying to get my mind prepped for it. It's funny because I'll bring peppers to work with me, and I'll try to eat them periodically throughout the day. I jumped on Texas Hotspot the other day while I was at work and put down 5 super hots right there. I regretted it a little bit afterwards, but it's the whole thing. It's just now I'm waiting until the day before, because then I'm going to start getting a little nervous because I'm not the biggest fan of flying. And Beth, I don't think Beth has flown. I think she's only ever flown once in her life, and that was many, many years ago. So now I'm more nervous for her flying and making sure that nothing gets messed up, because we're literally going down Friday and leaving Sunday. So it's like we don't have much room for error if something happens. Or my biggest thing right now is I'm afraid that I'm either going to get delayed or my flight's going to get canceled or something's going to happen and I'm not going to be able to make it. So all this advertising and storylines on the newspaper are all going to be for nothing. That is my biggest fear right now. But the whole ZestFest situation is, I'm really excited. I've never been to Dallas. I've never been to such a big pepper festival. Like the first pepper festival I went to was the one I went to Saturday. I went to it last year. That was the first festival I went to that was for peppers and sauce, and it's really cool to see it. So I'm really excited to see how big this is, and it's just all the buzz that's floating around about it and people that are interested and putting their input in. I by no means are going to expect anybody but some of my followers to say, you got this, you're going to crush it, you're going to kill it. But I'm loving watching all these people going back and forth talking about the 2 people to beat right now and with Dustin and that. So it's like, it's really cool to watch. And I keep making the joke online saying that I'm just there for a hype man for them and this and that. But it really, it's really cool. Like the prep and the training and the challenges I'm doing right now to get ready for it. Months ago, I never would have been able to do it a straight face. Like I did the chili chocolate, was it chocolate chili nightmare? Chocolate cherry nightmare. My bad. And I didn't even get to a 3 on that. And I was expecting to fry. So it's like, I'm curious to know how Moab would go for me. I'm curious to know how the Ed Curry experience would go for me. Because if I'm correct, nobody's completed the Ed Curry experience yet.
I don't believe so. And I had a very small piece of it. And I think that's one of the hottest candy bars I've had.
I was sitting here when Beth was on Texas Hotspot eating it. I ate like 3 or 4 pieces of it, and I was just chilling, eating it, and I was mixing it with the Moab. I put like 5 or 6 pieces down, and I was fine. So I'm like, I've ordered more, so I'm gonna do them both.
Here's what you should do for the Moab, my opinion, because there's no afterburn time. It's just a completion. Is you should try to look and see. I think the record is just shy of 2 minutes to finish the entire Moab bar. You should try to shoot for something.
I'm not good at speed eating. Like when it comes to like the speed eating aspect. Okay, so like when it comes to like food challenges, like the burgers and the fries and stuff like that, that is fine. But as I saw on Saturday when I competed in that jalapeno eating contest, I can't speed eat for the life of me. I still placed 3rd, but I was like, I wasn't expecting it to be 30 seconds. I drove 2 hours to go to a pepper eating contest and ate literally 4 peppers. I was so upset with life, because I'm going there thinking, I'm like, all right, I'm going to put down 30 jalapenos. People are probably going to be disgusted with me, and it was literally 4 peppers in 30 seconds. So But when I get them up, I'll try. My first chocolate challenge I tried was the Nemesis, and that wrecked me. I think I got through halfway. I don't know if you're hearing all that noise. It's all the puppies fighting, so I apologize.
No, we're good. We are good. All right, so this is where we start wrapping things up. If people wanted to see you again, where would they find you? If they wanted to see the Scoville unit in action, where would we find you?
You're good. You're good. So you guys could find me on YouTube at the Scoville Unit, like he has there. You could find me on Facebook at the Scoville Unit. I'm also on TikTok, and I'm also on Instagram. So you can find me on all the major social media outlets.
Excellent. Excellent. I appreciate your time. As always, thank you for squeezing me in to your life so we can get a little bit of a backstory of you. And I hope you do well, just as I do all the competitors. And I will keep in touch with you guys. And follow up, and we'll see what happens.
All right,
In
great. I'm
October.
glad to be here.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
All right, no problem.
Well, there you have it, folks. The Scoville unit interview. Hope he does well. He's a great guy to get to know. Like I said, we have a 30-minute interview period, stuff like that. But I'm trying to keep these interviews rolling. I have several more to do. I'm trying to get through all the competitors just as they have. But one thing that I didn't make you aware of, and I will be right back. If you can bear with me just for 1 second. All right. Today, just for watching and commenting, today is a giveaway day. So, by random comments, we have the winner for a Krazee J mug is Sean Thomas. Sean Thomas. You win a Krazee J mug just for watching and commenting. That's from Sean in the pack, by the way, if you don't know who that is. So I appreciate you all watching. Random giveaway day. Anyway, I'm Krazee J. I like to do things the crazy way. Stay crazy, my friends, and I will see you soon.